So back in the days of my original channel, I was responding to several individuals in the dog hating community. As we all know, there's the one guy who made threats towards a bunch of people, and I'm not going to go in further into that. Then you have the ignorant and kind of cult leader, I hate dogs, as well as the individual, the dark truth about dogs, which now they've changed the name, and it seems like every single one of their videos have either been privatized or have been deleted off their channel. And then you have the woman whose name I cannot remember. And unfortunately, she changed the channel name, so yeah, you can't think of her name anyways, or look it up. So she did, however, change her name or channel name to Canine Aversion. Now, for those who don't remember, or at least haven't been in my channel for us to discuss this, and I've kind of stayed away from the topic because these people are kind of crazy. They're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. These individuals think that all people that own dogs are evil, that they advocate for dog violence, which is rare, and in this particular woman's case, believes that there are parasites in dogs that brainwash their owners. I'll say it again. She believes that there are parasites in dogs that brainwash owners.
What the fuck?
I am not kidding. This is something this woman actually believes. Well, she did a recent video where she talks about E3. So, without further delay, why don't we go ahead and get into that video? Also, for the sake of copyright, went ahead and sped it up so that way it goes by a little bit faster. I have a feeling that by watching her speak, you may end up somehow gaining a freaking tumorous mass in your brain for all the stupidity. I also want to point out, too, that it just goes to show how they like to deal with criticism, especially when likes and dislikes are disabled, as well as... Oh, wait, actually, no, she has comments this time. But it seems like she's deleting comments more than likely because they are all of the people that follow her. So, pretty much all crazies. Okay, so let's go.
Hey everyone, what's happening? I just thought I would share my thoughts about what happened at the E3 conference last week. For those who don't know, E3 stands for Electronic Entertainment Expo. This is an annual convention that takes place in Los Angeles, where different video game developers get together to discuss video games that are in production.
Well, at this point, a lot of people should know what E3 is. But to answer the question, I don't see how this pertains to you hating dogs.
I'm a huge Elder Scrolls fan, and I'm very hyped about Elder Scrolls 6, which is in pre-production right now, so I was hoping for some news about it, so I've kind of been following what's going on.
You know what's funny? You'd think that somebody like this would kind of stay away, since a couple of the enemies that you'll come across is bandits with their dogs, as well as wolves. Unless, of course, she only plays the game to kill those animals, in which case she'd probably go into towns and kill dogs as well, which then would get her in trouble with the townsfolk.
And by the way, any Elder Scrolls fans that follow my channel, what do you all think about Jeremy Soule, who was the composer for the last 3 Elder Scrolls games? Fantastic composer. I mean, I cannot imagine an Elder Scrolls game without his music. And he made a post on his Facebook page back in January that so far Bethesda has not contacted him to compose the soundtrack for Elder Scrolls 6, and I am like devastated. And I'm actually like I'm the biggest fan in the world. I mean, Elder Scrolls, I've been playing since 2003 when Morrowind came out, and I'm still playing Morrowind. Favorite game ever. And but I just can't imagine an Elder Scrolls universe without his music. And I'm honestly thinking that if he's not involved with this game, I'm not even going to bother buying it.
Okay, little rant here. If you're only playing a game for just one aspect, which is the music, then what's the point in playing it? I mean, there's got to be other stuff that you like about the game, or at least the games, to draw you in. But if that's the only thing, then what was the point of spending the money on Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim? Makes no sense to me. You'd think you'd be playing the game for its story, the characters, the amazing quests that are in the games, the lore. But, again, you're just there for the music. That just makes no sense to me.
But anyway, getting back on track. What happened last week is that this actor named Jon Bernthal, I've never heard of him.
I'm sorry, do you watch a lot of TV? How would you not know who Jon Bernthal is? He played Shane for The Walking Dead, and then played Frank Castle, the Punisher, from the Daredevil Netflix TV show. How would you not know who that guy is? And the reason he's there is because he is playing one of the main characters for the next Ghost Recon game.
But he's a huge Pitbull advocate. He showed up on stage at the Ubisoft press conference. Well, I'll just let you watch what happened.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, I'm John. Good to be here. This is Band-Maid and the Dog. Thank you for having me. Thank you. It's a real honor to be here with you guys today. Thank you. I love you too. Right on. This is awesome.
So, no offense to anybody, I'm not seeing the problem here. I mean, let's be honest here. As long as the dog's trained, is well-mannered, and has been approved by the head guys for E3, or from E3, I don't see the problem with the dude bringing his dog or a pit bull onto the stage. As long as it's well-mannered and trained, there shouldn't be a problem. But, you know, this lady sees a dog and honestly has to go on a 30-minute rant.
This is awesome, he says. Awesome for who? Awesome for you, Mr. Pitbull advocate?
No, lady, I think he's talking about how awesome it is to be at E3, as well as discuss the game that he's in.
Who's hell-bent on changing public perception of pit bulls?
So, how is that a problem? I mean, because of people like you, especially who think that all dogs should be banned or therefore removed from society, who make these hit pieces about how violent these animals are, why shouldn't he, try to advocate for, a different perception of what these dogs are like? Especially when, with the basic principle that usually a bad dog is, or at least is spawned from a bad owner. An abusive owner will end up causing a pit bull, or let's say a dog, any dog, to become violent in nature. It's kind of like the basic, it's nurture and not nature type of deal.
Spreading your propaganda like a missionary?
Well, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? I'm sorry, didn't you and your group use one Bible verse to make it out like all dogs are evil, even though dogs are mostly in the Bible being used as a metaphor for evil people that want to spread false information? And it's not even propaganda. He's sharing his, let's say, his viewpoints as well as his experience with these animals. I mean, for the most part, he mentions in his video, which I'll post in the comment or the description of my video, where he talks about how instead of like flying off to work, he will actually decide to drive. So his dogs are always with him. He kind of has this special bond with his animals. And in a sense, he is trying to show people that, you know, just kind of pushing these dogs away isn't going to help, because if we ban them in certain areas, then more than likely we're going to have a bunch of animals that are strays, a bunch of animals that are homeless. And sometimes, especially on the streets, it's going to get rough for them, and it's going to probably get worse for society when you have all these dogs that are homeless.
Going around into places that, I mean, this dog did not need to be on stage. Its appearance was not explained.
Why should it be? If the head people of E3 thought it was okay and approved it, then the dude's allowed to have his dog there.
It's like these people are bringing their dogs absolutely everywhere. And this is very, very selfish. They have a very selfish agenda. They want to change the public perception. They want people to come around and see how loving and sweet and whatever these dogs are, right? That's their goal.
Well, back in the day, pit bulls were referred to as the perfect nanny dogs for children because of their fantastic temperament, and were used to represent America in World War II posters, or World War I, sorry, because of their loyalty, bravery, and determination. I guess even people like Helen Keller had one. In fact, a lot of responsible owners know that it's not the sweet and loyal animals that are the problem, but rather a handful of the self-serving and unethical breeders. But if they're put in or raised in the right environment, pit bull terriers are naturally inclined to be wonderful pets.
Selfish, purely selfish, and inconsiderate. As I've stated in a previous video, 1 in 20 people suffer from a crippling fear of dogs called cynophobia. 1 in 20, that's a crippling fear. That's not even taking into consideration the many, 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 many people like myself who do not suffer a crippling fear, but are justifiably uneasy around dogs because, as I have explained, dogs are natural predators. They are descended from wolves, and as such, they all display predatory aggression. They are all unpredictable.
So 1 of 20 seems like, forgive me, it sounds very low, doesn't it? 1 of 20 people. And it doesn't help, too, when it comes to that kind of fear, when you have people like you that spew false information. Also, yes, dogs are descendants of wolves. And the earliest wolf was trained by humans. In fact, the same argument can be switched around to humanity, since, let's say, since the beginning of man, we were very primitive, and we were hunters, in a sense. In fact, I'm pretty sure that if technology and society was expunged from humanity, I'm pretty sure a lot of us would suffer from our basic instincts and become primitive, and therefore violent, and decide to, resort to that sort of primitive behavior.
But pit bulls especially, bully breeds especially, were bred to be efficient killers.
Not originally, and that's only due to the fact that we have people that use them as fighting dogs. Not to mention, those particular people would abuse the animal to the point where it snaps.
They are known for being the sweetest dogs for years and years, and then suddenly snapping and going on a rampage and killing people.
So you acknowledge that the dogs, for years, unprovoked, are sweet to their owners that they live with. Now, I have a feeling that usually a reason a dog will end up attacking an owner. More likely is if something happens to it, or let's say, for instance, and I go back to the whole nurture not nature type of deal, where a dog is trained with either being with a certain group of people or, let's say, a certain group of animals. For instance, let's say you have an owner, husband and wife that have a pit bull, and for the longest time they don't have a kid, and then by some time they finally have a child, and the child is rough with the pit bull, at times hitting it. Now sometimes that may cause the pit bull to become aggressive, is it's lashing out because it is getting unwarranted aggressive behavior towards it. Look, dog attacks are not unprovoked. Usually a person does not recognize the provocation or does understand the warning signs that the dog gives. A dog can be unrealistic though, attacking through fear when the person or other dog is not really being a threat. Alright, I'm going to finish responding because the rest of the video is just complete and utter nonsense. It's... how should I put this? Unprovoked and uneducated content when it comes to what she says. So, thank you guys for watching. I know some people have their thoughts about pit bulls. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to post the video from Jon Bernthal about pit bulls. I'll post that in the description so you guys can watch it. I'm sure some people will enjoy it. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. Truly appreciate it. This is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one, and take care.